Before I joined SteelSeries, I was running a community site, pretty much, I think, with sort of the same mindset as you have. I'd been doing like mainstream gaming for a long time. I'd been writing for newspapers. I'd been writing for lifestyle magazines. I had done like review gaming websites. I had done a television program about gaming, and I wanted to do something different. And I was really like getting into this competitive esports thing. So I made a site that focused solely on Counter-Strike to begin with, but later added more titles. I started building tournaments. I built an internet cafe around it. And then in 2004, my last competitor closed down. There was nothing left for me to do, so I sold. And I went up to one of the biggest sponsor I had, which was a company called SteelSeries. And they needed a new website, so they actually hired me to redo our website. Somehow I ended up transitioning from that to like writing press releases, to running the company's PR, to taking over marketing, to going from a transition where we were like a small company in Denmark to now being a global company. It's been a lot of fun. I believe that business is kind of like a video game. When you're playing an MMO title, you know, you have a character and you like apply all these skills and stuff to him. If I take myself in my business career, it's been the same thing. I started out like as a complete freaking newbie in my underwear, and then I had to go and like find clothes and like find a backpack and like slowly get experience and get better. I had to interact with a lot of people together, and I could learn from other players, and eventually I became kind of okay at what I do for a living. The biggest challenge of being a manager, I think, is that you actually have to grow up as a human being yourself. Helping manage other people and having other people report to you, it's probably a good mirror. Like you kind of get some perspective on yourself, and you can apply like all the flaws you see in other people and all the good things you see in other people to yourself, and then you kind of get to cherry pick. Throughout the years that I spent gaming a lot, more than I do now, unfortunately, I've done different things. I've run Counter-Strike teams. You play online. You can't see each other. There's no body language when you communicate. When you learn to do that reasonably well, I think you become really good at like managing a team. When you run a guild in City of Heroes or EverQuests or Ultima Online or whatever game I've done that in, you run people really remotely from all over the world in different time zones. You learn a lot about being accessible. You learn a lot about communicating and being friendly and like trying to get people to give them the best that they can give. That helped me build a content site where I didn't have enough money to actually pay people who work for me, but I had an editorial staff of more than 50 people. I would never have been able to accomplish that if I hadn't like been in gaming and been doing the things I've done. And I would never have been able to go from having 50 freelancers who basically were working for headsets and whatever I could find and give them, to building that into like a global team of people who now work for me like full-time and are very professional, if I hadn't like done that transition. I started playing games when I was 7 or 8 years old. I'm one of the first generations of people who played games in their homes, not in the arcades, on microcomputers, and I've seen the industry kind of like evolve around me. As my generation just keeps getting older and we're trailing, more and more young people are coming after us who will grow up with computers. They will grow up with consoles. They will grow up being surrounded by video games in all shapes and forms. That's where we see gaming going. It will become huge. Competitive gaming will become really, really big. When there's enough people who have a shared passion and a shared interest for something, and you establish people who are just amazingly good at what they do, that's when people start following something.